If given the opportunity to quantify it, what percentage of Ghana's water body would you say has been good?
I would say 90%. I would say 90% of our water bodies is gone. We are currently conducting a study to give the quantitative measure of the level of pollution of every or each and every water body in the country. So that study is underway, and soon we're going to publish to Ghanaians. This is the state of our water body. So if you say River Pra, all through from upstream, downstream, we'll be able to tell Ghanaians there's a level of pollution.
What is the EPA doing?
Yeah. So the EPA has issued several warnings. EPA has done a number of monitoring along our water bodies and also even on land, because when people mine, they dig holes and they don't reclaim the land. So we go on a route of permitting and directing everybody in the country, no matter whatever you are doing. Once it touches on the environment, we guide you as to what to do. If it's gold you want to mine, no problem. Mine with a permit, but follow this and this. So we give conditions to every permit that we issue. So as I said, if it is gold mining, small scale, large scale, whatever scale, we say, okay, dig the hole, take the gold. When you finish, cover the hole, reclaim the land, plant trees on the land before you move to another place. We have issued several statements on mining on our water bodies, which is illegal and against the Constitution of Ghana. So another thing the EPA is doing, recently discussed an agreement with a company, I've forgotten the name, that will provide a solution, a liquid. It's a nanofluid that will be used to treating our water bodies right from the source, the water bodies themselves. So we are talking to the presidency for financial support in those, because EPA's finances cannot support that. Once we are able to get through with that, it's a nanofluid. We spray it on our water bodies, and that fluid separates water from every other thing. So we expect that soon we'll be seeing, let's say, River Pra clean, clear at the surface. So it will settle every other thing, dust, mud, heavy metals below, and the surface of the water will be clear. That's what we have tested the liquid here in EPA, and we confirmed to the presidency that this is a good thing for us to go. The costs, we leave everything to the presidency to deal with, not as EPA. So hopefully there is hope to clean our water body. So hopefully we'll not get to where every Ghanaian will probably have to import water if you're able to go that route. But most of these, before we apply them, we have to distill the water, because the galamseyers, they block some part of the water bodies and then use it for their washing. So we have to make a way for the water to flow and allow the water to be free before we clean them up. That's also another work. That's also costs that we need to deal with the taxpayers' money in the country.
Now, do we have a fair idea of how much it's going to cost us if we want to engage this company that can help us salvage the situation directly from the source?
Yeah, as EPA, I decided not to go into the costing. I took it from the technical point of view to test the liquid, the nanofluid, and give advice to the presidency, because I don't think it's going to be any cheap. It's going to be expensive. Looking at the level of cleaning we have to do in the country on our water bodies, it's going to be huge. And so importing these nano fluids would take a huge amount of money. And that we leave it to the presidency.
So we leave it to the presidency. However, we've got regulations that perhaps give the EPA the authority to fine these destroyers of our environment, right? And then we've got a potential solution that demands money to get paid. How is the EPA going to support the presidents in as much as you want the presidents to deal with the financing, using your authority where you could fine companies Do we see something like that coming up where the EPA will find those who destroy these water bodies to pay for that?
Yes. So we are guided by fees and charges that is approved by Parliament. So our fees and charges, if you go by that, the level of pollution we are talking about, the fines cannot still treat the water bodies. It's a peanut. The penalties we give out there to the polluters of the environment are really peanuts. So maybe we need our fees and charges reviewed, and then we'll be able to tie in to like polluter-pay system. But as you speak now, the level of pollution compared to the penalties we actually give do not match at all. So we have had a meeting with the Parliament Select Committee on Environment, and this came up on our fees and charges are really low. And so let's say the discussion has started.
The almighty LI2462. We hear that when Parliament resumes from recess, it's going to be revoked, this time about not amended. Yep. How comforting is that story to you?
It's dicey, I would say. The LI the idea for the LI wasn't a wrong one. It was actually a good one to regulate mining in the forest area. Because we've been mining in the forest area since the 80s. But then we didn't really have a regulation. We had a guide. But we didn't have a law that helped guide mining in the forest area. So the law was drafted, passed for that purpose of regulating the activities there. Unfortunately, it rather turned things around. It rather made people got to know that, oh, so there's minerals in the forest, let's go and mine. And unfortunately, there's a clause in the LI that says the president has the power to allocate even land in the reserve areas and all of that to anybody within the president's powers. And so that clause was abused since the law was passed in the last administration. It was abused. And people mined indiscriminately in the mining area. And enforcement wasn't also strict enough, wasn't strong enough per the regulation. And so, in one way, maybe if it is revoked, it will calm things down in the forest area. People will not get there. But I tell you that this is Ghana. The illegal activities are just too many. People will illegally mine. And EPA will not have the powers to regulate them because there's no LI now to regulate mining in the forest area. We will not give permits because we don't. If it is revoked, it means there's no mining. There's not supposed to be any mining in the forest area, which means that we're not supposed to give permits for anybody to mine in the forest area, which also means that we don't have any jurisdiction there for regulation. So it's now rest on the Forestry Commission to protect their forests per their mandate.
So literally, if it is revoked and not amended, EPA loses its power. So it's a fair.
Yes.
If people go into a forest to mine,
Exactly.
then it goes strictly to the
Forestry Commission.
You do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So then it means it's not comforting.
No, it's not comforting. I was going for the amendment to remove that clause that the president has the power to allocate land in a reserve for anybody. I was going for that so that we can continue to regulate. We have minerals in the forest. Some areas are just forest. They are not forest reserve. They are different. There's forest reserve and there's forests. So if it is forest reserve, it's a no-go area. Nobody goes there. But if it is just forests and there's gold or diamond in there, minerals in there, it's okay to mine. Then you reclaim and rebuild back the forest. But where it is reserved, we say in our tradition, we say it's a taboo. You don't even enter there. So that one is clear. I mean, we should just draw the line clearly. But without the regulation, or we say we ban minerals or mining in the forest, it means nobody should go there. But I bet you, Ghanaians.
Has the EPA engaged stakeholders, and I'm talking about the CSOs, the media, on this argument? Because I mean, I'm just getting this clarity from you directly, and I feel like, okay, maybe we've not even supported you in terms of communicating.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe because we didn't also understand.
It's true.
We engage.
Yeah. Yes. So I would say before where we got to, we've had poor communication around that LI. It was not, the education was poor, and I think since the mining in the forest area became more popular and Ghanaians got to know that this is what is happening, that is when the LI issue actually came up. It also even more, I don't know if it was the other way around, but of the LI, that's the mining in the forest issues also became popular in the other way around. So yes, we've not had good education of the LI to Ghanaians. But again, as I said, it's not comforting to revoke it completely. I would wish that we go for the amendments in removing certain clauses that gives the president the power to allow mining in the forest area. Probably make it stronger in saying strictly how we are regulating activities in the forest area. Because once you come for permits, there are conditions you have to follow strictly into how you should mine in a forest area.
Well, it's been revealed that it's going to be revoked anyway.
Yeah.
Will the EPA, under your supervision and all that, are you going to quickly go back to the drawing table and pull all these stakeholders together, including us, the media, for a serious conversation and education, so that perhaps in the earliest future, we could go back to this airline and then see
where to
lead, if to bring it back. But then by then, perhaps people would have understood the whole dynamics. Is it something you would want?
Yeah, sure. We are engaging communities that have mining in their forest areas. We have community engagement from next week going. And we're going to have like 3 continuous weeks of engagement. So we do this engagement all the time. We have to engage the media space as well and engage CSOs on the same topic. So let's wait to see what Parliament will come up with. But until then, we are doing this education in the communities on the same mining in the forest area, where it's going, what benefits, the disadvantages we have, and all of that. We need to get the people to know.
How collaborative have your collaborators been? So talking about Forest Commission, Lands Commission, the police, and all that. How collaborative have they been in this?
Oh, I would say we've been working together. Yesterday, I was watching TV Joy News and I saw discussions on illegal mining. If it wasn't part, but so I would say all hands are on deck, and I'm happy that every institution is working along the same line as EPA. We work together all the time. We've had several meetings, even at the presidency with Minerals Commission, Forestry Commission, Attorneys General. We've had several meetings, and all looking at ways to resolve this issue of Galamsey.
Finally, there is this argument out there that our mining area or mining sector is heavily fronted by politicians. Have you seen that? And if you have, what would be your direct suggestion or plea to the current government when it comes to issuing leases?
Yeah, so I've said this severally on the media space that since I took office, we act on complaints, we monitor. Once we see, we act on them. We've seen in TV, on radio and all of that politicians are behind most of the mining issues we are confronted with. But we have not received an official complaint that this particular person is involved in the mining. So we normally will go after such persons and go through the prosecution processes, hand them over to police and all of that. We, the presidents, the presidency, my advice, they also know that no politician will be spared if we get to know that this is where the politician is heading to or is doing. So far, the NDC party members, I would say, in power, we have not seen or identified anybody yet, but we have seen pointed to Untumi, which we have seen it all over, pointed to Kate Dimfua of the previous administration. But in the NDC, I've not heard any yet. I've not seen any yet, or it hasn't come up yet. But the previous administration, which I believe things are already happening on the background. Over the weekend, I heard some of the news around Untumi and all of that. So I would say the administration is working right from the presidency, dealing with politicians in mining or in illegal mining activities. Yep.
How hot is that seat?
The seat is hot. I think it's the hottest seat I've ever experienced. Of course, I've not done much in life, but so far, I would say this is the hottest. It's a never-ending job. I work virtually 24 hours. If it's not office signing permits, it's letters I have to reply, recommend, meetings, jobs, people looking for employment, meetings, contracts, going out there for monitoring, penalties, charging, issues, community engagement, complaints, addressing. It's everything. EPA is everything in the country. So it's really hot, but we are managing.
Thank you, Prof. And it's been nice talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.